Welcome to Behavior's 2024 Devlog, which, in short, basically just made Killer kind of more bearable, but also made Survivor more bearable in the long term. Anyway, we're gonna talk about it. Not gonna take that long. I'm freeforming this video, so there's no script this time. Anyway, starting off immediately, generators, those things, yeah, they, can only get kicked a certain amount of times now. 8 to be exact. So anyone who's like the 3-gen Larry people who can't 3-gen anymore, congratulations. You can now uninstall the game. You have no reason to play because you have no chase ability because you never practice with it. So that's kind of it for you. Compensate for that though. Gens are getting buffed to 5% per kick. So now if you don't have any other slowdown, you get a kick it for free. And at least 5% of the gen must be repaired to stop regression, which basically just buffs me because I don't kick gens anyway. For like, if you do play Killer though, it's honestly not even that bad, because if you really think about it, and if you look at generator perks, and this is something you have to consider, is think about slowdown, eruption, pop, pain reso, surge. All of them, you kind of only need like 5 uses max before you win the game. If you're running like one of them. For instance, Surge, for instance. It works on each down. It's not going to hit the same gen 8 times unless the survivors are in one corner. And if it is doing that, and you're getting 8 downs that quickly in the same area, well, you all kind of already won the game. Because that means that the gens over there are still far from getting completed, or they're getting pressured really hard, and you're 8 hooks in out of 12. Someone's probably dead at that point unless they spread it out. Pain reso only triggers 4 times. Pop, you only get 8 to 9 uses before the game's over, and things like that are just why 8 is honestly a really good number, and only really punishes those actually doing the 3-gen from the start strategy. So, it kind of nerfs Trapper and Hag the most. Because, you know, it's Trapper and Hag, and that's kind of it. That was their whole thing, was 3-genning. So, big concern about them. You will have to sprout your pressure a bit more. But even then, if you're running slowdown perks, not really that big of a deal. And Hag is more about lethality than she is about gen regression compared to Trapper. The perks that do get nerfed, though, that you might not be considering are Nowhere to Hide, which is an aura reveal perk. It's currently disabled because Night is still kill switched. Which is not great. But that perk now only has a max of 8 uses per gen, and since that's an information perk, I'm curious as to if it's going to get changed in the future. I don't think it's going to get changed now, but it might be worth looking into behavior side to make it still good. Granted, it's still one of the strongest aura perks in the game right now, because it works off every gen, it travels with the killer, it's not stuck to the generator. So if you're playing Blight, you're halfway across the map with aura reading, which is insane. We'll talk about the Blight changes later. Also, things like Trail of Torment also got nerfs. Dragon's Grip, stuff that requires you to kick gens. Granted, if you are able to get 8 uses on one gen with that perk, that is insanity to me. So it's not really going to impact them much, but it might be worth keeping note of for future changes. This also buffs different slowdown perks that you might not be considering. For instance, Deadlock and Deadman Switch just got buffed from this. You're going to see a lot more of those because they don't regress gens, they block them. And because of that, that means that they're just better. It brings them more up to speed. Grim Embrace is something I've been running for a bit, and it also got buffed. We'll talk about that later. But it's honestly, it's going to make it more engaging and builds more variety's sake for those that were just relying on slowdown to win. So hopefully that makes everything better. Next change is that there's an FOV slider. Yay. It only goes up to Shadowborn. There's not really much else to say about this. You get 4 perk slots now if you use the perk. That's kind of it. Nothing else, really. The next change is Sadako, which is absolute insanity, and does a lot. For instance, teleporting. We're breaking it down how behavior did in their list. Teleporting. You can now teleport whenever you teleport. It's no longer map spread for Condemn. It's only within 16 meters of a powered TV that they get a stack now. The cooldown is gone, so now she can teleport whenever she wants, and when a survivor is hooked, their current Condemn progress becomes locked in. Which means if you are at 6 out of 7 condemned token, like stacks, and you get put on hook, you are stuck at 6 condemned stacks for the rest of the match. Which is insanity to me, and is going to make tapes a lot more prevalent. I honestly don't think that even fixes the spam teleport issue. If you see a TV near the loop, and you know you can afford it, teleport. Just immediately. Build that pressure. Because mid to late game, it's gone. This change alone, that one change, makes her a pub stomper. That's it. Pubs, gone. You're going to stomp every single one very easily, which is also very concerning. But it's just for free. It's free. That's it. It's free wins. If you're a good team, you're probably not going to notice the change as much, but Cursed Tapes also no longer protect servers from gaining condemned, so you can't even grab those. I'm sure some people were already writing down comments about that. Cursed Tapes are also no longer destroyed or inflict condemned when a survivor is hit, so you literally are not encouraged to grab them until you have condemned on you. And Cursed Tapes can only be deposited in the furthest TV when they were picked up. So my suggestion is that every single time you gain about 2 to 3 stacks, do a tape. Every single time. Just do a tape immediately. Drop what you're doing, do a tape. Because you cannot allow her to build up pressure. It's the same thing with Legion, why you spread out on gens, to not let them get a lot of injures back to back to back. Do not let them build up pressure. That's not what you want the killer to do. You want them to struggle for it, cry for it, bleed. You want them to not have anything to work with. So once you get 2 to 3 stacks, go do a tape. If you're a pub player, you'll thank me later. If you think your solo queue teammates are bad, tell them to do that. Should help out a lot. She can also now chase while demanifested again. It's on instant chase ender, which is fantastic, I guess. I don't know, it doesn't really do much. And the duration of invisibility was increased to 1.2 seconds. They made Rico's watch basically. Which is literally what they did. I'm not sure if this really does anything. I don't really play Sadako. I only kind of face them because I'm not really a fan of M1 killers. She's more of a macro play style, so I don't like her as much. But if she's your thing, let me know if you like these changes. They could be good. Could be fun. Who knows? Billy. Yippee. Overheat's gone. Yay! And it's been replaced by Overdrive. Don't boo just yet. As you're using your chainsaw, it will generate heat. When the heat meter is full, you can still use your chainsaw and you gain effects for 20 seconds. I believe any time, like the heat bar is always, it doesn't go down. I don't think it goes down based off this sentence. I don't think it regresses. So I think it just randomly in a chase, Billy is just going to gain a bunch of buffs, which include chainsaw's charge speed increased by 5%, increases movement speed by 13 meters a second, and cooldown sprints are now reduced by 10%, which is good. It makes this chase a lot better for 20 seconds, which is enough for a down on most tiles, unless it's like shack or main building, because let's face it, most people aren't that good, and unless they're always dropping pallets, you'll be just fine. And I know that I'm gonna put footage over this, but Sadako just put her eye at the screen, because I forgot I'll swap to Billy, but we're going to ignore that. They've also done some other things for his entire base kit, not just overheat. The base chainsaw sprint movement speed has been increased by 10%. You will still need engravings. I want you to be aware of that. If you are curved Billy, I'm pretty sure you still need engravings. So his build isn't really going to change. You can maybe get away with only using 1 engraving now, but you basically still need both. Which isn't bad, because for new players, the high speed can be a bit not fun to use, and his chainsaw is more for map traversal. A Millie, which is a Billy that M1s, is just a hillbilly that doesn't want to farm with the survivors. I wish people would accept that. They've also reduced his chainsaw collision detection for everything. Maybe not survivors, but at least for objects, which also means that you will no longer get BS stuns, which is one of the most aggravating things to have with him, which is incredible, because guess what? That means you can now do fun stuff, and it probably buffed his curve, so that's even better. So Curve Billy got buffed, which is incredible because that's his most fun playstyle. And then camera sensitivity is also no longer tied to in settings. There's a controller sensitivity. Even if you're on PC, that still affected you. I don't know why. No one does. It just happened. Sorry, taking a sip of my cola, and I'm one-shotting this to get the video out. And I do want it to preface, Billy and Sadako are also both getting add-ons. I don't know what they are. The PTB goes live tomorrow on January the 9th, 2024. So I'll probably look at them and then cover them, and if there's anything problematic, but for the most part, it's just going to be another update. Blight got nerfed. I'm gonna go into this. Before we even read the add-on changes, I need y'all to understand, Blight is still an A-tier killer. His base kit is A-tier, because it's just that good of a killer. Them reducing his add-ons just makes nerfs better. That's it. He's still top 3 at the very minimum, just based off his kit and what you can do with him. That being said, Blighted Rat and Blighted Crow were both nerfed by half. They were 4 and 6% down to 2 and 3. So Speed Blight is still a thing if you stack them, but otherwise it's not really that viable anymore. You don't even get the original version of Blighted Crow if you stack both of them at once, so it's not that great. Adrenaline Vial, decreasing time to recharge a rush token by 1 second is removed, as well as increasing rush speed by 10% is removed. Everything else about the add-on stayed the same, so it just makes it slightly worse. It still should be good if you know what you're doing. Alchemist Ring, complete rework, increases rush duration by 20% for each consecutive rush, which basically just means it's going to be easier to try doing like moon rushes and stuff. If you're good at Blight, I don't think it's going to be that good, because if the survivor just leaves the tile, you're kind of going to be sitting there for a bit if you want to save tokens. So it's basically punishes you from wanting to save tokens now if a survivor just leaves. Granted, if you have enough tokens, you can go ahead and rush and try to get a hit anyway, as well as swing, which is going to encourage that playstyle, so it's kind of give and take. Compound 33 is also reworked to where each consecutive rush, which is longer than 4 meters, increases turn rate by 33%. I don't know why Behavior really likes turn rate stuff. He already has like 7 of these, which isn't even a bit. He has so many turn rate add-ons, it is insane. Specifically, he has 5. That's a lie, he has 4. Right now, currently. Never mind, he literally has 2. He has 3. Whatever. He has 3 that affect it. But yeah. So that one, I don't know. That makes me think that they're going to remove flicks, which I think they already did that for Chucky, so they're probably going to do it again. But that's kind of it. There's not really anything else important about that. So just be wary if Blight in the same thing has a bug fix that says he can no longer flick, and it's not in this because they view it as a bug fix. Iridescent Blight Tag is completely reworked with enable rushes to be performed without spending tokens. I don't really know what that means. Rush bonuses are capped after 3 consecutive rushes, and Blighted Corruption goes on cooldown for 20 seconds after a successful lethal rush attack. Which basically just means that you get 1 initial rush, I guess, but I don't think you can attack afterwards. But you get 3 rushes for free, and then when you hit somebody, you don't get to use tokens. Which is basically just Alkring, except less lethal, because you injure somebody with this, and then you just immediately rush again. So for that one specific chase, it's literally just Alkring, and then you have a 20-second cooldown, which when you account for hits, by the time you enter next chase, you're still gonna have it. But now it's an iridescent add-on, so, give and take, I guess. Perk updates! STBFL is the first one, which is base. Each token grants a stackable 4%. This is decreased from 5% to basic attacks. And any time the obsession loses a health state by any means, you lose 2 tokens. That's changed from basic attacks. So everyone who used this with M2 killers to save tokens, suck it. You have to learn the killer now. I know you probably learned the killer anyway. It's usually a good perk on them, but it's a meme. Demo, Wesker, Huntress, you have to use your power. STBFL's not as good anymore. or you have to just straight up ignore the obsession, which is how standard M1s use this perk. So it's still good, it's not that bad, and it doesn't fix the core issue of being able to face camp, because the base kit buff from M1 was buffed a while back, I forgot how long. So this perk has been problematic for a bit. It's still really good though, so don't take it off your builds just yet. Grim Embrace has received a secondary effect, where the first time a survivor is hooked, all generators are blocked for 12 seconds once the killer moves at least 16 meters from the hook, which is such a weird effect, and that tells me a lot about what perks are coming soon. This is just good. It's just a good buff. I think that's great. I think the cooldown, or like the countdown for 12 seconds starts after you leave, so you can kind of use it as barbecue to start heading towards a gen, and then force them off the gen, and then you get a hit. And that's kind of it. That's cool. I like that effect. As someone who likes passive slowdown and not overwhelmingly slowdown, this is fun. This is good. I like it. Quick Gambit got a useless change. It was increased from the range to 36 meters, was 24, and the repair speed bonus is now 5% instead of 8, which you're probably thinking, oh, 5% for one within 32 meters of me. That sounds great. Why would I not use that? So there's another perk that's free without having to buy Vittorio called Deja Vu, which grants a 6% repair bonus to the 3 closest generators in like a circle around each other, which is basically the anti-3 gen perk. So if you run that, you 1, don't have to rely on your teammate getting chased, and 2, you get 6% repair bonus, which was Quick Gambit tier 1 originally. Now it doesn't even reach there. So they either need a buff for that repair speed bonus or nerf Deja Vu. Honestly, I'd rather they do the second one, because gen stuff in general isn't fun at like that much for either side. I think they're quite boring perks to use and go against, so that will probably not exist. Hex Ruin got a change, which no longer disables once a survivor is killed or sacrificed, which is neat. It's not going to do much. I'm quite disappointed, honestly. My wanted change is that they rebuff it to 200%, but keep that it disables when someone dies to not make it overly oppressive. Plus, it's still a hex totem, so not that bad. Shadowborn was reworked to when blinded by any means, gain haste for 10 seconds. 10% haste, which is a lot of haste. It's also only 10 seconds, and the survivors have to get a save, so it just lets you catch up and deny it faster after they initially saved them. So it's kind of a meme pick, I'm gonna be honest, because if they have a background player, the person saves halfway across the map already, and you still can't counter a background player without, 1, a wall, if it's a flashlight, but then there's also flashbangs, or Lightborn. So I feel like if you don't want... I feel like if you ran Shadowborn, you're probably just going to swap it out for Lightborn if you want to keep running a perk to its new effect. I feel like that's just better to deny a save in the first place. Unless you want to counter Blast Mine, but that perk is so rare, it doesn't really matter. And then for Modern Abuse, which also had FOV changes, didn't get changed, they just removed that part. This perk is already pretty niche for like Myers, Pig, Ghostface, Nurse, that kind of stuff. So it's not like overwhelmingly a big deal that's not getting anything else. Should still fit your build if you use it on them. Ormond's also getting gameplay updates. I'll put the pictures on the video right now. Here's the problem. Ormond is one of the biggest maps in the game still, or at least it feels that way. I'm pretty sure it still is. Which, the problem with that is that with Ormond, if you don't have map traversal, you can't get from one end to the other. So Behavior, and their great idea, decided to buff the map for survivors, which doesn't make sense to me, where the front and back end of Ormond has now gained more tiles, and stronger tiles too. Which, okay, I don't know why. I don't know why. We wanted, like, Swamp hasn't been changed for, like, 6 years. Joy is still a problem, Garden of Joy. I don't like Eyrie of Crows. Borgo has lighting issues. Bad Ham, there's 5 of them, are all equally bad. I know that is a licensed map, so it might be harder to change. But it worries me on where their priorities are. Just in general. Because, like, if you're working on Ormond still, a map that is mostly just regarded as bad due to map size. If that changes during the P2P and they didn't list it, whatever, great. But your map team should be working on other shit. Like, that's it. Work on other things. Ormond is not top right now. So I'm not happy with that. And then the last thing that is official, and that's because I'm going to mention some leaks that happened, but I'm going to do that again so people can skip it if they want, is that the lights out in a survey from a while back will be coming to the game soon as, like, an extra modifier. I don't know if that is a change that is going to be for the main game. I'm going to assume it's going to be an extra game mode. Lights out, for those that missed the survey, was Dredge's Nightfall. Here's a picture of what that looks like for everybody. And that will just be a game mode. Here's the problem, though, is that if you run filters, which, I don't know about your opinion on that. I use filters myself for content purposes so that I can publish gameplay and not make it look too weird. I also stream on Twitch, so I need people to be able to watch it, and the game can get quite dark. So, I'm not really going to play that game mode. It doesn't sound interesting compared to other stuff they had, like zombie tag and things, so, all in all, kind of disappointed by it, but it's whatever. And then there was also some leaks from a few days ago, specifically, now keep in mind these are leaked. We don't know how they're going to be implemented, basically loot boxes. And what those do, that is what they were called. I know those have bad names. They're like mystery boxes or something. According to the leaks, they're going to be a way to earn old Rift cosmetics. And that's it. Nothing else. And we don't know how you earn them. So I need people to understand that when I talk about, like, oh, here's the leak stuff, you don't know. We don't know how you earn them yet. You don't know how you earn them. You don't know. It could be free. It could be a Rift thing. There's no possible way of knowing until it's official. So don't go raging yet. Wait for how it is. And then if it is where you have to buy them, yell at behavior. They're not going to go away, though, because that's a higher up thing. I dropped something, but that's fine. There's also going to be a spring event. That's kind of it. There's going to be a spring event, which is going to be cool. Anyway. That's it. See you all tomorrow, because there's also a new survivor with this update. So I'm going to be covering that too for a quick update video. I might be playing the PTB if it's worth it. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff, but queues are usually long. Sorry, not wrong. And not that interesting in play. This video is going to be like 24 minutes. I have to go edit this now real quick. Bye-bye. Bye. Watch this other video. YouTube's recommending it. Wherever it is. I don't have a face cam, so I can't point at it. Yippee!